Hello, good morning everyone. I am Dharmendra and today I will be discussing with you SCF and LCM in number system. Now the moment I talk about the number system topic, something that would come to your or you would have seen in the first earlier topics like the classification of numbers and all, something that you have already studied in your primary school, like in class 5, class 6, all these topics that you have already studied. So let me just speak one line on this particular point that whatever you have done in your school time, you haven't concentrated on its applications of it. Now my focus here would be on working on the applications, and working on the applications will come only when there is a clear-cut conceptual understanding. So let there be a clear-cut conceptual understanding of SCF and LCM. Okay. Now when I talk about the understanding of SCF, what is SCF? Highest common factor. Before that, I'm just asking you a couple of normal examples, taking few examples, live examples that you would be, doing this in day-to-day life. If suppose you have to plant 120 saplings into rows, having equal saplings. So how many saplings can you plant in one row if suppose you have to do it? Like 120 saplings has to be planted in rows, into rows, and all the rows should have equal saplings. Now, can I make 10 saplings in every row? Yes, I can make 10 saplings every row. So in total, I'll have 12 rows. Can I make 20 saplings every row? Yes, I can make 20 saplings every row. So that will make to 6. That will make into 6 rows. All the 6 rows will have equal number of saplings. Can I make 25 saplings every rows? No, because 25 saplings in 4 rows will come to 100 saplings complete. After that, for the 5th row, only 20 saplings are left. So in that case, all the rows won't have the equal number of saplings. Can I make 7 saplings in each row? No, because there will be 17 rows with 7 saplings and 1 extra sapling will be left. So in that case, the condition that every row should have equal saplings will get nullified. Similarly, let's take another example. If I have to measuring 16 liters using one smaller measuring, if I take one can and I have to measure 16 liters, correct? What could be the volume of that can? Can I collect 2-liter can? Yes. And one more condition is that I have to always completely fill the can, because obviously if the volume of the can I take and I completely fill it, then only I'll come to know that this is the volume, correct? Now can I take a 2-liter can? Yes. In 8 times I will get that this is 16 liter, correct? Can I take 4-liter can? Yes. In 4 times I'll measure the 16 liter. Can I take 5-liter can? No. If I take the 5-liter can, in 3 times I'll get 15 liters. And how will I measure this 1 liter left? So I cannot take 5-liter can. I can take 1-liter can, I can take 2-liter can, I can take 4-liter can, I can take 8-liter can, and I can take 16-liter can. What are these numbers with respect to 16? These are nothing but the factors of 16. Factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. So we can easily take the volume of the can as this measurement, correct? Similarly, in case of plant saplings, I told you, I can plant, as I told you, the 10 saplings into every rows, 20 saplings every rows. What are these numbers? These are nothing but the factors of 120. So I can take any number of saplings I can plant into every rows, which is nothing but the factors of 120, correct? So these are the factors. Now coming on to out of that, let's suppose. Okay, so now we discussed about the factors. I let you know about the basic understanding of the factors. Now let's come to further. I'm taking a couple of numbers here to make you understand basically the SCF we are trying to understand. There are 3 numbers, 72, 108 and 126. Now if I want to find out the factors of 72, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 36, 72. correct? These are the factors of 72. Similarly, the factors of 108 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, 27, 36, 54, 108, correct? And similarly, the factors of 126 are, these are the numbers, factors of 126, correct? Now, what is the meaning of SCF? What is the full form of SCF? Highest common factor or greatest common divisor, correct? Now, if you see what are the common factors, first let's go for the common factors. What are the common factors of these three numbers? So the common factors will be, what are the common factors? 1 is a common factor, then 2 is the common factor, then 3 is the common factor, then 4 is a common factor. No, 4 is not the common factor. See, 4 is not the common factor. Then 6 is the common factor. Yes. Then after 6, if you see, 8 is not the common factor. 9 is the common factor. Correct. Then 12 is not. 18 is the common factor. Correct. Then after that, 24 is not. 36 is not. So 18 is the common factor. So what are the common factors of these numbers? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 and 18. Which is the highest among all these? 18. So this is highest common factor. Highest common factor of 72, 108, 126. Correct? Got it? So this is the fundamental understanding of SCF. Now, what are the different ways to find out the SCF of numbers? Because obviously if there are some big numbers, you cannot look for it in a hit and trial method that these are the common factors, correct? These are the you will look for if there is a number. Suppose I give you a very big number 2, 4, 6, 8. Now you cannot just the factors of this number would be 1, 2 and so on. That will take a lot of time. So let's suppose there are a couple of ways to find out the SCF of the numbers. One is the factorization method. Now, if I take the number 72, 108, 126, if I split this number in terms of prime factor, what will I get? I will get this number. How you get? I hope you know this, because if I take, let's suppose 72, so 72 when you divide it by 2, you get 36. Then again you divide it by 2, you get 18. Again you divide it by 2, you get 9. And again you divide it by 3, you get 3 here, correct? So the 72 will be 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3, which is here, correct? Similarly, 108 can be further split in the same way as 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 3, and 126 as this. Now, taking each of the prime factors separately, what is the maximum common in terms of 2? Here you have only 1, 2. Here you have 2 2's and here you have 3 2's. What is the maximum common? Only 1, 2. So 1, 2 will come. Then in case of 3, again there are 2 3's. 2, 3. Here 3 3's and here 2 3's. Correct? So that is 3 into 3. 7 is not common. So this is the highest common factor. That is 2 into 3 into 3. That is 18. Correct? So this is how we do it through the factorization method. Then there is another method. Just now we discussed the factorization methods. There is another method called division method. Now in this case, what we do? We see, let's see the number as 72, 108, 126. Now let's take any two number first. 72, 108. Divide from the lower number, divide 108 by 72. Correct? So it will go one time. So what you get? You will get 6, 3, 36 remainder. Now from the remainder, again divide the divisor. Divide 72. Correct? 36 2 ja 72. Now the remainder is 0. Now 36 is the SCF of these two numbers. Correct? This is how we go with the division method. Now since you have to find out the SCF of three numbers, take 36 and one more, the next number to 126, and proceed with the same method. Divide 126 by 36. Correct? So this will go by 3 times, I suppose. 6 3s are 18, 1, 108. Now you get here 8 and you get here 1. Now from 18 is the remainder. So from 18 divide 36, because 36 was the divisor here, correct. So you will get 18 to the 36. And now the remainder is 0. So this 18 is what? This is the SCF of these two numbers, 36 and 126, correct. So 18 is the final SCF of these three numbers. Final SCF of this three number is what? 18, correct. So this is another method to find out the SCF of the numbers. Okay. Let's check some examples, some applications of it, some understanding. Find the largest number that on dividing 85, 150, 220 leaves a remainder 164. Let's understand the question properly. I want a largest number. Let's suppose the number I want is n. And n when divides 85, correct. So remainder is 1, correct. Similarly, n when divides 150, when 150 is divided by n, remainder is 6. Similarly, when 220 is divided by n, correct, remainder is 4. Now this means if I subtract 1 from 85, then 84 will be completely divisible by n, isn't it? Similarly, 150 minus 6, 144 will be completely divisible by n, isn't it? 84 will be completely divisible by n and 144 will be completely divisible by n. Similarly, when I subtract 220, 4 from 220, I get 216, which will be exactly divisible by n, correct? Now I want the maximum possible number which will divide 84, 144 and 216, which is nothing but the highest common factor of 84, 144 and 216, correct? Yes or no? So this work I'm leaving on you. Find out the answer from your side. I have already discussed how to find SCF. So I'm just coming that it boils down to finding out the SCF of these three numbers, correct? Okay, let's take the another one. This example, 84 rose plants, 126 marigold plants, 189 chrysanthemum plants have to be planted in rows such that each row has equal number of plants and each plants of a particular variety only. What is the least number of rows needed? Let's understand. 84 rose plants are there, 126 marigold plants, 189 chrysanthemum plants. Now you want to plant them in different rows, correct? Correct. Okay. Now in one particular, each row should have equal number of plants. And also in one row, only one particular variety of the plants has to be planted. Like if in one row rose is planted, only rose will be planted. If in one row marigold is planted, only marigold will be planted. And the second thing is that in every row, the number of plants that is planted has to be same. Now, what will I get? Can I plant one plants in each of the row? Yes. Can I plant 2? No. Because how will I go for 189? There will be some plants, one plant left, isn't it? So I can go for one plant. Can I go for 3 plants? Can I plant 3 plants in each of the row? Yes, I can plant 3 plants in each of the row. Now, what will be the next number? Next number will be 6. Will it be 6? Yes, 6 will be there. No, 6 won't be there. So now again, what it comes to, always only the common factors of these numbers can be planted in each row. If you remember that earlier when I told about one planting of 120 saplings, so each row can be planted only the factors of 120. Similarly, in each row, the factors, it should be the factors of 84, it should be the factors of 126, and it should be the factors of 189. And since I want the least number of rows, that means I will plant the maximum number of plants. I'll put the maximum number of plants in each of the row, which is nothing but the highest common factor of 84, 126 and 189. Correct? What will be the highest common factor of 184, 126, 189? I have already told you the ways to find it out. Try to find it out. I think it should be 21, isn't it? Yes or no? I suppose the answer should be 21. Just check it out. Okay. Similarly, let's take one more example. How many pairs of numbers exist such that their SCF is 12 and sum of the number is 108? I'll just let you know the basic process. How will you proceed with this question? Pairs of numbers, that means let the number be n1 and n2. Correct? Their SCF is 12. So if the SCF of these two numbers is 12, one number could be 12a, another number could be 12b, isn't it? Where a and b will be co-prime. Co-prime means there won't be any common factor between a and b. Not necessarily prime, but there won't be any common factor between a and b, because we have already taken the maximum common factor from 12a and 12b, which is 12. Correct? Now the sum of these two numbers is 108. So when you cancel from 12, what you get? You get a plus b as 9. Correct? 108 by 12, that will cancel out. 9. Now a plus b is 9 and a and b will be the natural number. What are the possible values of a and b? It could be 1 and 8. This is possible, one pair. Second pair possible would be, will it be 2 and 7? Yes, 2 and 7 will be possible. Correct? What will be the third pair possible? I am writing here. What will be the third pair possible? Can it be 3 and 6? No, because 3 and 6 are not co-prime. If I take a as 3 and b as 6, the SCF of these two numbers will be 36. Wherein the question it is given, SCF has to be 12. So I cannot take 3 and 6. The next number would be 4 and 5. Yes, the 4 and 5 pair could be taken. Correct? Similarly, so these are the three pairs that can be taken. So such three pairs would be there. You will get the number 12 into 1 and 12 into 8. Second pair will be 12 into 2, 12 into 7. Third pair will be 12 into 4 and 12 into 5. Correct? Okay. Now coming to the basic understanding of LCM. What is the full form of LCM? Lowest common multiple. But before that, let's understand, how you generate the ideas of LCM. Multiple. The word is multiple, correct? Suppose if I tell you there is a bus which passes from a particular bus stop after every 10 minutes. And the first bus passes at 10 a.m. Correct? Now in that case, the second bus will pass at 10:10, isn't it? Third bus will pass at 10:20, then at 10:30, then again after 10 minutes, 40 minutes, at 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, and so on. What are these numbers? These are the numbers multiples of 10. At the same time, if I tell you there is another bus which passes after every 15 minutes. And both the bus, there are two buses, let be B1 and B2. B1 passes after every 10 minutes and B2 passes after every 15 minutes. Both the bus passes at first bus, both the type of bus, first bus of both the type passes at 10 a.m. Now in that case, if you see, just analyze this, first bus 1 and bus 2, correct? Both the bus passes at 10 a.m. After that, the first bus will pass after 10 minutes, then after 20 minutes, then after 30 minutes, then after 40 minutes, and so on. Second bus will pass after 15 minutes, then after 30 minutes, then after 45 minutes, and so on. Correct? Now what do you find here? These are the multiples of 10. These are the multiples of 15. Now if you see, 30 is the first common multiple of 10 and 15. So if it is the first common multiple, can I tell this is the lowest common multiple of 10 and 15? That is the LCM, correct? So I hope you would have got some idea. I mean, these are the situations wherein the idea of LCM comes into play. Okay. Now to find out the LCM, if I have to find out the LCM of, let's suppose 6, 10 and 15. So I'll look for the multiples of first 6. Multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24 and so on. Multiples of 10 are 10, 20, 30 and so on. Multiples of 15 are 15, 30, 45 and so on. Correct? Now similarly, as I told you earlier in the last slide, what is the first common multiple of these numbers? The first common multiple is, if you see, this is 30. Correct? So 30 is the first common multiple. The next common multiple will be 60 and so on. So the LCM, that is the lowest common multiple, will be what? That will be 30. Correct? Okay. Now in this case, as I told you, two different methods of finding out the SCF. Now similarly, to find out the LCM also, one factorization method works. I told you already how to find out the SCF of these three numbers in the earlier slides. Now if you have to find out the LCM of these numbers, just understand with a very basic definition of LCM. LCM is a number which has to be completely divisible by 72, 108 and 108 and 126. And this n should be the minimum possible number, which will be exactly divisible by 72, 108 and 126. That means exactly divisible by 2 to the power 3 into 3 square. Similarly, 108 is 2 square into 3 cube. And similarly, just a second, 126 is 2 into 3 square into 7. Correct? So the LCM is, now I want a number n which is exactly divisible by these three numbers, and the number should be minimum. Correct? Now let's treat each of the prime factor separately. What should be the minimum power of 2? Sorry, what minimum power of 2, which will be divisible by 2 cube, 2 square and 2 to the power 1. That will be 2 cube. Similarly, what will the maximum power, next prime factor 3, what will the minimum power on 3 such that it is divisible by 3 square, 3 cube and 3 square. So that will be 3 cube. Then the next prime factor is 7. What will be the minimum power of 7 such that it is divisible by 7 to the power 1? 7 to the power 1. So this is the LCM of these three numbers. Got it? Okay. Now let's take one question which is a bit application based. There is a number 12, 18 and 30. Find out the series of number that when divided by 12, 18 and 30 leave a remainder 5 in each case. Did you understand the question? The question is, there is a number n. When you divide this number by 12, the remainder is 5. When you divide this number by 18, the remainder is 5. When you divide this number by 30, the remainder is 5. Correct. Now, let's look at the first minimum possible number which will be exactly divisible by 12, 18 and 30. What is that minimum possible number? That minimum possible number will be the lowest common multiple of 12, 18 and 30. So what is the lowest common multiple? Just find it out. I have told you already the different ways. That will come out as 180. So 180 is the minimum number which can be divided exactly by 12, 18 and 30. Since you need 5 as a remainder, just add 5 to it. Correct? So the first number will be 185. The minimum number will be 185, which when divided by 12, 18 and 30, the remainder will be 5. Correct? Now what will be the next number? So for the next number, just see here, 180 was the minimum possible number which was divided by 12, 18 and 30. What will be the next number which will be divided by 12, 18 and 30? That will be 180 into 2. This is exactly divisible by 12, 18 and 30. Since you want the remainder 5, add 5 to it. So the next number will be 365. 180 into 2 plus 5. What will be the next number? Again it will be 180 into 3. Correct? Add 5 to it. So this will be the next number. So you can generalize the number as 180 into something. So 180, let's suppose A plus 5. Correct? So the number will be in this particular form, which when divided by 12, 18 and 30 will always leave the remainder 5. Correct? Okay. Okay. So students, to understand what I tell about the SCF and LCM, conceptual topic, very fundamental topic, the first thing I'll always tell you is just understand the very basic meaning of highest common factor and lowest common multiple. Trust me, even the complex questions of this tough aptitude paper you can solve with just a very basic understanding. The beauty of aptitude part is you just need to understand the fundamental concepts. Once you understand the fundamental concepts, you can very well solve any tough questions, or you can work on the applications of it. And then obviously just practice. That is always there in every topic. Okay. You can definitely refer the ebook that will be given by our department in School of Lifelong Learning in Kalgotia University. And the second will be R.S. Agarwal book. I have written here reasoning. The R.S. Agarwal book is also in the quantitative part. So you can use the quantitative part by R.S. Agarwal. Correct? So thank you. Thank you, students. Once again, I'll tell, give stress to the clarity of the concepts. Even if you solve less questions, won't matter. But the fundamental and the concepts has to be clear. These topics you have already studied in your school time, but you didn't, give stress to understanding the fundamental facts, concepts part. Once you understand the concepts, you can work with the questions very easily. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.